Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time it is for you, whether you're watching live, and thank you if you are, or whether you're going to be watching archived, definitely welcome to this grandiose, awesome, and what will be kind of a fun, upbeat, lively episode of Steve's Wrestling Ramble. Welcome to subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. I'm trying to, grow there as well, of course, just like anybody. But this episode, as you see from the title of this episode of this podcast, and the title of this video specifically to the channel here on YouTube, I have a speech. I don't have it written now. I don't have it prepared in that way. I have it prepared in my mind. Hopefully, I can eloquently state it as I did in my head, or as I have it in my head of what I want to say, kind of the points I want to make. Also, I will get into Money in the Bank, a little bit about Raw, but honestly, probably barely. A couple of things of Raw, as I do anyways. But mostly about Dean Ambrose. I'm very, as you guys already know, I'm a big fan of Ambrose. People that are on the Marks group. By the way, you can join the Marks group on Facebook if you have a Facebook. Facebook.com/groups/Pro Wrestling Marks. Again, that is Facebook.com/groups/Pro Wrestling Marks. Also, you can check me out later tonight. I will be talking about Dean Ambrose, my marking out moment, and all the other stuff. I'll be talking about that again tonight on Talking WWE with Jay, 6 p.m. Central, here on YouTube on that channel. Again, that is Talking WWE with Jay. And tomorrow night, on Wednesday night, as I do per usual, I will be on a podcast, Main Event Marks. You can follow them on Twitter at @main_event_marks. Talking WWE J was at Talking WWE with just the letter J. Follow them on Twitter. Those two shows on Twitter. On Wednesday, I will be on Main Event Marks. I am usually each and every week. And another time, again, obviously talking about Dean Ambrose. Thursday, I'll be talking again about at least Dean Ambrose. I'll actually make it a topic because on Thursday, it's a laid-back Thursday episode. News and notes on Talking WWE with Jay. Thursday, 6 p.m. Central. And one of the topics, at least I plan to bring to the forefront, probably topic number one of the whole entire episode of that podcast for that day, will be about Dean Ambrose moving forward and what I think. And that's kind of what I'm going to talk about here in my speech. But for the audience of that podcast, I'll regurgitate everything I say here there as well. But if you really want to check out how and see my, excitement and me being a little loose, as in more relaxed, I know I'm, a straight edge, not straight edge, but a straightforward, straight to the point, as some people said in the past, monotone voice for, not really as whatever, but I will be that whatever. I will be more relaxed, comfortable, not stingy or whatever when we get to tomorrow night for Main Event Marks. I have a whole plan of how I'm going to be introduced, or not how I'm introduced, because the host, Angry Cooter, is going to introduce me how he wants to introduce me. He's the boss man over there, the big boss man there. But when he does that introduction, however he plans to do that introduction, of what I'm going to say, even what I'm going to wear, I kind of told them, talked to them a little bit about that already. They better get ready. They better be ready for me tomorrow night for that. I'm not going to be, overly crazy. I'm still going to keep to myself. I don't want to be fake. But I will show a little bit more emotion. That's for dang sure, as I will even here on my own show here on my channel. So I'm just, pre-warning everybody, letting people know, check out the other channels. Check out those other episodes this week. Again, that's tomorrow night, Wednesday, for Main Event Marks, starting at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. On their channel, look it up, Main Event Marks. Welcome to subscribe there as well. And then Thursday, tonight and Thursday, we're talking WWE with Jay. 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern start, live here on YouTube, talking WWE with Jay. Also, check out another wrestling podcast with the boys, JB and Credo. Credo and JB. And check them out. You can check them out online. Check them out at www.anotherwrestlingpodcast.com. I'll follow them on Twitter, WWE Podcast. Credo, you can follow him at Credo himself there. But definitely check their stuff out as well. But like I said, this episode, I have my speech about Ambrose and putting the title to that will come up here shortly. I just wanted to get all the promotional stuff out first. And then, as I said, check me out on the other podcast tomorrow and later this week as well, as I already mentioned enough times. So if you missed it, if you're just joining now, you might have to wait until this episode goes to archive to hear all that stuff I said. But yeah, here we go. It's a day for celebration, at least for Ambrose fans out there. I know there's many of them. Then again, I know there's many that don't like Ambrose. They respect him, but yeah. So anyways, without further ado, I guess speech time, talking time. Maybe it's not even a speech. Maybe it's just general conversation about it, but put it in speech form, I guess. I don't know. It's just the way to do it. So it's great that Dean Ambrose cashed in. New WWE World Heavyweight Champion. When we slowly got here to get Money in the Bank, or slowly got to Money in the Bank, and they're building up. They even have that segment on Raw with the whole former Shield members reuniting on Ambrose's show, Ambrose Asylum, and Ambrose makes a statement of if he could win the briefcase and cash in the same night, whether it's Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns, he's gonna cash in, yada yada. And I was worried at that moment, and worried throughout building to WWE Money in the Bank pay-per-view event, that with that segment happening and them kind of having that being done, being said and stuff in the promo and in the segment, I was kind of worried that it wasn't going to happen. As in, he wasn't even going to win the briefcase, let alone win the briefcase and cash in. And seeing him being booked leading up to Money in the Bank as well, winning one of the matches, specifically over Kevin Owens, like they were in their own little feud there, make you think, oh, dang, they really are going to go with Kevin Owens. They are going to go with Kevin Owens. He is going to be the one to win the briefcase. And I know my friend and a fellow co-host of Main Event Marks, Mike Cologne, was really wanting KO to win the briefcase. Talk about how good he would be on the mic and all that other stuff and yada yadas, and all good points by him. I don't mean to belittle his points. His points are valid and in some way correct. But in my opinion, I thought Dean Ambrose would be the best bet. I did not see or foresee him actually cashing in on the same night, same show. I really thought that if he was going to win it, as I predicted from the start of 2016, that's another thing. From the start of 2016, as I've said on Talking WWJ, as I've said on Main Event Marks, and for dang sure I've said here on my own show, I predicted early here in 2016 that Dean Ambrose would win the Money in the Bank contract. Now, my reasonings could have been hit and miss, and could have been, and I know in the beginning they were for sure my heart over my head at that point, but as we got closer and closer, I had more real points and reasonings for Dean Ambrose to win the briefcase. And then another one was Dean Ambrose is going to be WWE World Heavyweight Champion by the end of the calendar year, not the WWE year, which is the night after WrestleMania 2, the next WrestleMania. But the calendar year of 2016, Dean Ambrose will become WWE World Heavyweight Champion. So, hallelujah, praise the Lord above that. Both came true, and both came true on the same night. Oh, it's true. It is dang true, and I am dang happy about it, of course. For those that say that he should just be a transitional champion, that he should only have it for 1 month, let alone some people were saying only for 24 hours, I say, okay, that's your opinion. I respect that. Not everybody's going to love Dean Ambrose. Just like me, and being one of those of not everybody liking Kevin Owens or AJ Styles or other indie darlings. I don't hate them. I respect them, for what they've done and all that other fun stuff. But so in that respect, as I feel about them and people loving them, I respect those that don't love or even like Dean Ambrose. It's personal opinion. Everybody has one, and everybody's entitled to one. That's for dang sure. But as a fan of Dean Ambrose, as a mark for Dean Ambrose, as a whatever you want to call me for Dean Ambrose, I'm very happy for him. Very happy for him with his character. Happy for him for his future. Happy for him as a person. Happy for him in many, many ways that moment happened. That what culminated all the way up to what happened at Money in the Bank. Him cashing in, becoming WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Now, if I did have other people on this show, which is my own fault having it in the middle of the afternoon on a work day, I'd be letting them share their thoughts, whether they agree or disagree. Makes for a good conversation. But for one thing that I would be bringing up to them is that this is vindication for Ambrose. This is what some of us Ambrose fans thought might not ever happen. Some of us Ambrose fans thought might never happen because we never thought WWE would have the cojones, have the vision, and the realization that it would be smart money to put the title on Dean Ambrose. Now, whether he's going to drop it at SummerSlam, whether it's him only warming up the title for Brock Lesnar, I really don't give two you-know-whats. I really don't. Now, I would like to have him reign as WWE World Heavyweight Champion or as WWE Champion if they are going to split up the titles at the WWE Draft, which will be happening live on SmackDown there on the 19th. I might even do a live episode of that, or live podcast episode on that night, but we'll see. We'll talk about that more later. But I would like to see Dean Ambrose be champion all the way to WrestleMania. Just like I'm sure Kevin Owens fans, if this thing happened to Kevin Owens, he became WWE World Heavyweight Champion this past Sunday, they would say the same thing. They would want him to have a long title reign, being to WrestleMania. That's what I want as a fan. But me thinking, and here as a budding journalist and podcast host and all this other stuff that I do wear many hats. I think that what probably is going to happen is he's going to hold it to, at the very least, SummerSlam. He's going to survive Battleground. By hook or by crook, some way, he's going to win. SummerSlam maybe is where, he'll drop the title. And depending on everything that happens with Brock Lesnar and UFC, it's not a foregone conclusion that Brock Lesnar is going to defeat Mark Hunt. He can get his, knocked out. And then, what is WWE going to do now? What are they going to do when he does, come back to WWE for SummerSlam? Then he might not be in the title picture, which then might change the plans. Okay, what are we going to be doing with Ambrose? Well, maybe we'll keep the strap on him longer. Maybe he'll be holding it, at that time, at least till Survivor Series. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. I would hope so. Like I said, I would hope it'd be all the way to WrestleMania. I mean, that's what I would want. But we'll see. Now, when Seth Rollins won and became new WWE World Heavyweight Champion and everything, I was thinking maybe if Dean Ambrose cash in, I was thinking that WWE would make us, the WWE Universe, and specifically Ambrose fans, make us think that it's going to happen and then it not happening, and they just go off the air, Seth Rollins new champion, yada yada, how you doing? But surprisingly and happily, Dean Ambrose did come out and they did have him cash in, and the rest is history. And the only time I actually thought of it actually going to happen, because obviously I was thinking and wanting it to happen the whole time during the main event of the title match. The only time I actually for sure certain knew it was going to happen was just moments before it did happen, when they're doing the far camera shot, I guess you can call it, or whatever, and you can see the Titantron back there. It wasn't showing Seth Rollins, Titantron. It wasn't Seth Rollins' video thing. It was just the Money in the Bank stuff that they show, I'm sure, during matches and stuff, because they don't turn the dang thing off. They have something up there. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, snap. Oh, shoot. Dean Ambrose might actually come out, and then moments later, his music hits, and his theme song and music and video and stuff is there on the Titantron. Well, the video is on the Titantron. Music is, what I mean. Point is, that's when I actually realized that was going to happen. And then it happened, and I was like, oh crap, now what's going to happen? Like, it's just, it's almost like Cleveland fans out there, whether it's the Cavaliers, Browns, or whatever. Something's going to happen to screw it up. They're not going to win the NBA championship or championships. They're still going to keep this drought. Well, that drought ended on Father's Day also, and Dean Ambrose won the championship as well. Same night, Father's Day. It's pretty memorable. June 19th, 2016, a day that will, at least for wrestling fans, specifically in Ambrose fans, will, I guess, live in infamy, will be always remembered, never taken away from us, never taken away from Ambrose himself, of course, just like Zack Ryder's moment at WrestleMania, as much as he's back to where he was before WrestleMania now, still doesn't mean that that moment could ever be taken away. He won the Intercontinental Championship in a ladder match, multi-man ladder match. Okay, that's his moment. The Ambrose moment, the fandom of Ambrose moment, our moment being when he cashed in. And thank goodness almighty, thank God almighty, that did actually happen. Because I was worried that even when Ambrose did win the Money in the Bank, became Mr. Money in the Bank, that WWE would mess it up and have him cash in either that night or whenever and have it unsuccessful. Have an unsuccessful cash in. That really pissed me off, but it could have happened. Really anything could have happened. They could have had him face somebody and lose the briefcase. For all I know, I mean, don't put that past WWE. But it's time. It's not Vader time. It's not Triple H's time. It's not John Cena, you can't see me time. It's Dean freaking Ambrose time. His time to shine. His time to carry the ball. His time to, in a way, being not truly actually being, because that's still John Cena, but I was going to say the face that runs the place, the man. As I put in tweets and as I kind of dubbed him now, he's the guy, the man, the champ. I know in the promo he did starting off Monday Night Raw, he called himself the Dude, which is pretty funny and awesome as well. But as I dubbed him, the guy, the man, the guy, the champ, because that's what he is. So it is Dean Ambrose's time. It is his time to show his worth. WWE finally pulling that trigger, being smart, knowing what they have in him, having him now as number one WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And as a fan of his, as a fan of his since his, since his days starting with that Shield when the Shield debuted that many years ago. I can't say I knew too much of him before then. I mean, I've learned now about his past, CZW, the Florida promotion that was connected with WWE before they had NXT. I guess you could say it was developmental before NXT became what NXT is now, which is pure awesomeness. But so even though I didn't know him then, and now learning about his time in those promotions, I guess I could have been a fan from them, but I wasn't. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't, I was a first fan of his when he was with the Shield from that debut, and from there, I thought Ambrose should, excuse me, could have, should have, however you want to think it, be the number one guy of the Shield and be the first champion, first WWE champion to come out of the Shield after they split apart in the end. The plan was for Seth Rollins to be the first, and then Roman Reigns, and now Dean Ambrose. And also thinking of this is, and I know all you already know, and already have talked about on the Marks group and other groups. Again, if you want, check out the Marks group, facebook.com/groups/pro wrestling marks. Again, that is facebook.com/groups/pro wrestling marks. Check it out, it's awesome. I am a former admin there. Just like in the future, whenever he does drop the belt, because he's not going to hold the belt forever, as much as I would love that as a Dean Ambrose fan, but that's not reality. He's going to be a former something. He is going to be a former WWE World Heavyweight Champion. But hopefully he'll have another title reign. Maybe he'll have another uphill climb and they'll book him up against a different authority or something, or however. It'll be a multiple champion. It kind of reminds me of a Mick Foley here of this era, and the way that they've been building him or trying to build him, especially with what they could have done with his match against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Could have done. They didn't, but could have done. Trying to make him the hardcore guy, or not a hardcore legend because he's still going on, but you know what I mean, like Mick Foley. So he reminds you of that. Mick Foley had a couple of title reigns as WWE champion, or yeah, as WWE champion. So Dean Ambrose, has his first one. Then it comes in waves, right? So just like me being a former admin of the March group on YouTube, which I was very proud to be part of, and maybe in the future I'll be again. Dean Ambrose in the future will be a former world champion, hopefully a champion again, be able to have a nice reign. Hopefully this first reign goes substantial, even further past SummerSlam. That's what I would like. That's what I would want. But we'll just have to see what actually happens. Because you don't know. I wish I knew. But I don't. I'm just very happy right now. Happy that he's champion. Glad it happened. Obviously. As you can tell by my Twitter handles, which you can follow me at WW_podcast, I had a lot of retweets that I had that night, and then some in the morning, whatever, of Ambrose winning the title. Excuse me. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how long this title reign actually is for him. But I, of course, hope that's for a good long time. To be quite honest, for a long enough time that it'll matter, that it'll be an unforgettable title reign. But it's time. It's time to see how it's worth. It's time to let Ambrose run with the ball. See how he does. Because if he does better than WWE even expected him to, if he keeps the crowd reactions he's getting and all this other stuff, they might keep the belt on him longer and longer. Again, everything dictated with the WWE fan base, right? You listen to your fans, right, WWE? I know you do. I'm not saying you're not. I didn't mean to say that sarcastically, but that's what you say. And I know Stephanie McMahon, after watching her live on Facebook a couple of days ago, or whatever that was, a week ago, she genuinely seems like well, obviously she's a smart person, beautiful woman, and stuff like that, but genuinely kind individual as well. If I'm ever lucky enough to meet her or her husband or Vince in any capacity of any show or anything, first things I would want to tell either of them, or each of them, is thank you to listen to the audience in this specific direction, Dean Ambrose. With having the faith, having the plan and the foresight as well of what you're planning to do and what's going to be happening in the future, especially with the WWE draft and other things that will be that will be told soon. Of Dean Ambrose being now the WWE champion, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. But like I said, I'll be talking about this again tonight, tomorrow night, and Thursday on my other shows that I'm a part of. Talking WWE with Jay, Main Event Marks, and then talking WWE with Jay again. I don't know what else really to say. I was very happy. Trust me, you guys wish that there was a camera, this camera right here, or any camera, a real camera. I don't know. You guys maybe wish that there was a camera on me for a live reaction of that moment because you want to see a person animated, happy, marking out. That'd be me. And I've seen other people and their reactions, and I like their videos that did reactions of Ambrose cashing in and stuff. I saw a lot of them got good reviews, even those that don't have or didn't have the video with it, because you don't have to, and I wouldn't have been able to myself because of the whole copyright worries, which is understandable. But that was pretty cool. Money in the Bank, pretty good pay-per-view in general. Ambrose the new champion. Castanio, I thought maybe could have been the champion, U.S. champion, but that wasn't the case. New Day successfully defending their tag team titles, and they're going to have to drop it at some point. Maybe it will be SummerSlam. We'll see. But the show was good, but you know what? You already know what the best moment for me was, so. But the match of the night, for me, let me see here. Match of the night actually for me would be the I'm gonna go with the Money in the Bank ladder match, not just because Dean Ambrose won, but the match itself is awesome. Can't go wrong with those type of matches, and I love those type of matches, as you guys already know. So that would be my match tonight. Give me Money in the Bank a 10 out of 10 because of what happened, the cash in and becoming champion. So good show all in all. And also for next week, I want to let people know that next week I will be having my WWE draft, mock draft actually, my 2016 WWE mock draft. Hopefully to have at least one guest on, maybe have other guests on as well, but at least one guest. I only need one. At least one guest to represent SmackDown in the draft. We'll go back and forth, like how they're going to be doing it on the live SmackDown. Difference is that one's scripted and they already know what's going to be going down, but because it is WWE and all that other stuff, it's how it is. It's entertainment. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to love it. But here on my show, when we do the mock draft, um, you know, that person will be free to pick whoever they want, and I'll be free to pick whoever I want. It doesn't have to go to oh, this is how it's going to have to look at the end. No, it's if you want to draft somebody, and I had them on my top radar thing, I missed out, sort of thing. Kind of like a fantasy football draft, which I had my very first one this past week. If it's a snooze, you lose kind of situation. If you didn't draft them, you don't get them because the other person can draft them. So that's what I'm going to be doing next week. Hopefully to have a guest. So again, next week will be a very short Raw review. This one here, I barely even said anything about Raw. With Dean Ambrose was the only thing I talked about. On the other shows, talking WBJ and Main Event Marks this week, the hosts over there will be talking about Raw at least a little bit more in depth than I for sure did today. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, share, comment, subscribe, all that other fun stuff, I guess you can say. I don't know. But it's just still unbelievable that it happened. It's like one of those, did this really happen kind of moments. Was it a dream? No. Is it a reality? Yes, it is. Dean Ambrose is the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and hopefully he stays WWE World Heavyweight Champion for a good while. We'll see, but I hope so. Just I don't know. Well, I guess I'll finish with that since I can't really think of anything else really to bring up. Just wanted to share my thoughts on Dean Ambrose becoming champion. Give my review of Money in the Bank. A brief thing about Monday Night Raw. That's for dang sure. That was brief. But I wanted to get all this stuff off of my chest about Dean Ambrose and how happy I am and vindication, and hopefully he has a good long title reign here. And we'll see if that actually comes true. But we'll see. But you guys have a great evening. Have a great rest of your week. For sure. Don't forget, like I said, you can subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at WWE_podcast. And I'll see you guys later. And as always, take care.